Oi, meu nome é Bárbara Noleto, eu sou repórter do Jornal Opção e hoje eu tô aqui com a Nuran, que é uma cineasta turca que tá com sua produção super fazendo sucesso aqui no Brasil. A história retrata 3 mulheres e a relação delas, não só com o próprio psicológico, mas também com a constelação familiar, que acabou sendo o caminho para essas mulheres conseguirem superar os traumas e os problemas que elas enfrentavam, né? Nuran, muito obrigada por tirar um tempo para conversar comigo. Como a Nuran tem mais fluência em inglês, eu vou conversar com ela em inglês e vocês terão aqui as legendas. Nuran, really thank you for having time to talk to me.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy that we are able to talk through it. So thank you for inviting me to this conversation.
How was your movie received in Brazil? How is it going, the news about it?
Well, it was well received. Actually, when the first season came out, it was on Brazil's top 10 list for a couple of weeks, which was a surprise for me too. But then I started to realize that with the Brazilian culture and audience, and our story has many common points. So it made more sense later. And in the second season again, for a couple of weeks, it was in the top 10 list. And I received a lot of messages from Brazilian people, like they like the story very much and they share their own experiences on similar subjects. And because I speak Portuguese, I could respond them in Portuguese. So then we start to have this connection and interaction between the Brazilian audience. And I truly love it very much.
What do you think about Brazil? How was meeting this place? We are a bit crazy, we know it. So how was it for you? And what is the biggest differences you see between your country and here?
Okay, well, I was in Brazil when I was 18 years old. So I stayed over a year here in Brazil with a Brazilian family, an amazing family. And I went to high school here, so I learned the language. I was dancing in an academy, so I was in love with the Brazilian culture. The food, the music, the posture of people, alegria. So I came back to Brazil 2 more times, like 10 years later I came back, and again 10 years later. So I find some similarities between Turkish culture and Brazilian culture, but also there are many different things that we can learn from each other. And what is so special about Brazil to me is the joy of the people about living. And it doesn't matter how harsh is the life can become, like, you know, economically, you can have health issues, you can have difficulties in family, everything, because Brazilian culture is, to me, it seems like all about accepting the facts and make something positive out of it. So that's what I learned when I was 18 years old here. Whatever happens in the life, the Brazilian people have their own way to accept it and dance over it, I don't know, make churrasco over it, and the families are very close here. Like, family is very important, like having support from your parents, from your partners, being a family is very important in Brazil and also in Turkey. So this is a similarity, but I think in Turkey we have the tendency more like falling into tragedies more. Even our songs in Turkish, most of the songs we sing, they are sad songs. They are about sad stories or pain or, you know, painful processes. But when I hear music, Brazilian music, it's like, I mean, even the lyrics of the music are joyful. They're about being more positive in life. So.
And many times even the sad songs have some happy beat, right?
Yes.
There's a way of always keeping that. I like that too. And I want to know more about you. How was for you to become someone who lives for from art. This is actually a big challenge for Brazilians. Many dream of it, like arts are not that easy to reach here.
Yeah, it's the same in Turkey.
Really?
Yeah, it's very similar. When I was a kid, I was a little actress in a children's play on television. So I was 8 years old, already seeing that there is a thing called camera, there is scripts, there are actors, directors. So when I was a kid, I was very excited about to become one of those people. At the time, I didn't know which one. First, I wanted to be an actress, then I wanted to be a director. So I went to the film school in Turkey. But then I realized my passion is more about telling stories, like catching stories all around me and turning them into something that could be shared by other people. So I did the school and I started work in the area. Like I worked more than 10 years as an assistant director or in the casting department. So I wasn't that picky. Like I was never like, I am going to make arts, you know. I was more into discover the life itself. Like, you know, I tried a lot of parts in the business. I traveled a lot. I learned new languages. I always tried to improve my vision of world, to extend it through art. So my aim was never being an artist. And I don't know, art is in every area of life. So, but when you decide to make a job, have a job that you really love, then you ask to yourself, what do I like to do in life, you know? And as long as you get to know yourself better, you decide what to do as a job, which I decided when I was 27 years old. I decided that I would become a screenwriter. Not become a screenwriter, but I was already writing scripts, writing stories. I tried it as a profession, and I was both lucky and I was very passionate about it. So it was like I had no other choice. I have to do this. Yeah.
And when was the moment that the key turned and you actually started living of that? Like, well, since childhood you said you were already in the industry, so since the beginning you were like that?
Yes, I was always into this things. Actually, I bring this from my family. My mom's uncle, he was a producer in Turkish cinema. He was a very important producer. I hardly remember him because he died when I was 4. Oh. But maybe I have the genes from him, or for my father's side, also my grandparent from my father, he has this vision about me that I would become a storyteller, maybe in theater, maybe in literature. He didn't know, but he made this letter to me. Like when I was 6 years old, he was already imagining me telling stories, not just to Turkey, but to all around the globe. And it was a big mission for a 6-year-old kid to, you know, to compromise. But many years later, I found these letters from my grandfather, and I was like, oh my God, he knew it, or he saw something in me, or maybe he implanted something in me to do all this. And I am truly very, very, very grateful that I could do this job.
And what are the messages that you try to put in your productions? What are you trying to talk about? Is there a change you want to cause in the world, or a message you want to spread? What is it that keeps you moving?
It always depends, but I truly follow where my heart beats. For instance, now I'm in Brazil for 4 weeks, having all these events and chats and workshops. I'm gonna meet beautiful people. I'm gonna listen a lot of beautiful stories, and maybe they will become another TV show. Maybe they will become a book, because what I see in me is that I'm a good receiver. So I am not inventing these stories. I am just feeling them. I am observing them. I am listening them. So my profession is like to gather them in a shape of story, you know. So as long as you pay attention to signs in life, and as long as you listen when people speak to you, stories are everywhere. So the message itself is that let's get connected, let's hear each other, let's share our experiences with each other. I think because each message, each experience has another message, but the total message, if there is that all we are connected. And I think the art forms are all about reminding us that we are not alone in this planet. There are other people who are having the similar feelings, similar challenges with us, and we can learn from each other. So I really like what I do if I feel that it helps people to get more connected. Yeah.
And I really loved your story because I miss stories with strong women as protagonists, which are written by women, which I think is totally different when you come to really pay attention in the productions, right? I think when a woman writes about other women, it's very empowering and it makes a lot of things clearer, right?
Do you think so?
I do.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like as an audience, when I watch a movie about women and it doesn't touch me very much, then I realize the creators are not female. So I really appreciate the effort they give to understand women's world and to make movies or stories out of it. I really appreciate it. But I agree with you, when we are in the shoes of the characters as females, there is another deeper level of connection maybe. So we can tell our stories in a better mood, which is also, it's hard for me to write about the male characters, because I always is having assumptions about them, because I'm never in their shoes. So I ask my husband's help to help with me with the male characters, right?
And that's important because you end up being true, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Yeah, we try to find the core of the outside picture, you know, because when you see a picture from outside, you can comment, I can judge, we can have many ideas, but writing is more getting into that picture and being in this picture. How does it feel? How does it feel to be a thief? How does it feel to be a murderer? I don't know. How does it feel to be a victim of a crime? So how does it feel to be a just ordinary housewife, you know? It's all about trying to feel how does it feel like. So it's the best part of writing.
And just to finish the interview, I'd like to ask you, what would you say to the Brazilian audience that's watching you right now?
Ok, uau! Eu vou tentar falar português, então. Ok, eu agradeço muito, porque eu acho que se eu não tivesse aqui no Brasil quando eu tinha 18 anos, e se eu não fosse conhecer essa cultura, essas pessoas maravilhosas aí que ensinaram para mim, que sentir a alegria da vida. Eu acho que se eu não poderia escrever essa série Se eu não tivesse conhecer essa cultura do brasileira, mudou muito na minha vida. Aí fico muito orgulhoso por receber esse amor dos brasileiros pela nossa série. Agradeço muito. Espero que a gente faz terceira temporada e vocês gostam também. Obrigada.
Eu que agradeço. Muito obrigada.